Spencer Pollock, Ryan Oliver, Tara Abbott, Barry Johnson, Jim Davis, Kathy Ray Smith, and Randy Ely. Those are the regulars and board members. Did you get all of those, Karen?
I did.
All right, cool. All right, now we'll have the visitors and we'll start in the back.
I'm Chantel Harney. I'm on the Cabrera Parks and Recreation District Board.
Okay, Chantel Harney from Cabard.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm David Tate. I'm actually also a member of Cabard, but I'm actually here with my daughter who wanted to say something if she's allowed to for a few minutes of public input.
will do. Okay,
Okay,
did you
and-
get that?
Yep.
Okay,
And my name is Lisa Shaw.
Lisa Shaw, and you're representing just yourself.
Just myself.
Okay, all right, all right,
And Dr. Don Perman, representing Redwood Village and the surrounding businesses that surround my village and within my village.
And David Tate, your daughter's name is?
Lisa Shaw,
Oh, Lisa Shaw is his daughter.
that is correct.
Okay, got it.
Okay, now, I need to get a motion to approve. I know they're old, so I sent them out. We didn't have a meeting in December. I resent the meeting minutes for November the 18th for everybody to look at. So I need a motion to approve those November minutes and a second if I can. If everybody approves.
I'll move to approve minutes.
Jimson makes a motion to approve. Kathy Ray makes a motion to second. All in favor of the November minutes being approved, say aye. Okay, those minutes have been
You just sent
approved.
the link, she should have it in her inbox.
Okay, and Spencer evidently sent you a link to the new Zoom. Maybe check it out, see if you can get to it.
Okay, I'm in.
All right, you're in.
Okay.
You want me to leave the volume on? Leave you, disconnect.
No, you can take your phone out, yeah.
All right, I'm out. All right, we have I jumbled the meeting up a little bit from normal and I've rearranged a few things. But I will go back to, we're gonna probably capture the Cabard items later on in this meeting, so I won't do introductions and allow you your time to speak. We got quite a busy schedule today, so I want to keep these comments short and sweet. All right, so Lisa, what do you have for us?
I'll stand and make sure everyone can hear me. So, I'm gonna be speaking at the city council meeting tomorrow. I have been working with, children and adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities for the last 16 years. And, it is so important to me to have inclusion, with people with abilities and people with disabilities. And my daughter went to the park the other day and was playing with a little girl in a wheelchair, and it made me realize that we don't have ADA accessible things at the park. And so I want to see if we can try to get a couple of swings over at the Maple Street Park, a wheelchair swing and an adaptive swing. So big kids like cerebral palsy, kids with cerebral palsy or adults with cerebral palsy can sit and swing in them. And so I'm trying to get community support. We're gonna try to even fundraise because I know funds are tight and try to see if we can get those put into Maple Street, the little kid side of the park. And so I know you guys are like in charge of that. And so I wanted to kind of bring that over to you guys. And then I wanna bring it over to city council. And so that's my plan.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, and I know that we've talked at Maple Street Park, the playground equipment areas, I mean, the plan is to redo those, both of those, the little kid side and
I think it's as old as I am, so.
that one side is very
Yeah,
old, so
yeah.
that was on our list of things to do to move forward at Maple Street, so.
Is some of the stuff at Auburn Farms gonna be?
That's what I was gonna say, it's the new park that's going in, we'll have a couple
We'll have
Okay.
inclusive.
Is that over by like towards out north?
Locust, yeah.
Yeah,
Off the
yeah.
territorial.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was
Territory,
thinking. Yeah, great.
So that new park, and it's supposed to be done in April, hopefully somewhere in there, so
Okay,
that will have ADA
wonderful.
accessible.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
And all,
And actually a flooring, a wheelchair, so it's at Maple Street. It's.
My bark chips.
So.
yeah, it is, yeah, okay.
and I know all the schools have ADA equipment at all the elementary schools too, but that doesn't solve Maple Street, so.
No, yeah,
But it's on,
okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Permit,
Yes,
you have like 3 minutes.
thank you, sir. Well, you guys know what I'm talking about. And I just want to hand out the flyers to the group so they can just continue to be reminded. Us in the village,
Are these all the same?
yeah, no, say, just pass it out so they have a reminder going that way. And they can, I think it's 8 or 9. But it's just,
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it, listening, thanks.
just wanting to remind Parks and Recs, I think we've all established, is there anyone that doesn't agree that we lack public parking for the south side of town for access by car to get to the logging road on the south side of town? Does anybody dispute that that's still needed? I've heard that from you guys and also city council agree that we lack proper public parking and a proper parking lot for cars that want to get access up against the logging road on the south side of town. And the reason is because my development, the Redwood Village, and all of our business parking lots and all the surroundings with bar over in Club Fit and other surrounding businesses has been a public parking lot for the south side for the last 15 years. And I've come to the city for the last 15 years about figuring out a way to get some public parking up against the logging road on the south side of town. One of the main city agencies that have continued to use it, my road, as a cul-de-sac, as a parking lot, not only the public, which is continued, but the city bus continues to park there. It's been a parking place for that city bus for 15 years. So my question is, I presented something that I felt was very, very adequate and common sense for the city on the south side to have adequate parking for the public and adequate parking for a city bus. So they're out of the street and out of the cul-de-sac and out of our personal property parking lots. That's never been solved. I've been at it for a while. And I think it's time that we put together a program that puts in a parking lot. Lot 5 is one of those that has the infrastructure to put in a bathroom and put in 20 to 25 parking lots, or parking spaces. It's common sense. It's been used as such anyway for the last 15 years. My cul-de-sac, which is that circle right there, right by the square, that's been used as a public parking lot for the last 15 years. And the reason I haven't blocked the road, because we lack everything else on the south side. There is no other spot. Many people park at the school, which is illegal. We have Timber Park, but Timber Park does not have adequate public parking. It's not a parking lot. It's up on the side. I can take pictures every day of people parked in the cul-de-sac or in our parking lot. We're over in Club Fit. And I can bring them in to testify that fact. They're still using Club Fit to park and walk to the logging, along with our parking lots. along with the cul-de-sac. And the city bus might finally stop, but that doesn't solve the city bus's problem. And that's what I'm saying. Why can't we combine some agencies, maybe the city bus agency and the park and rec? And the city get together and buy the lot first. It's lot 5 is flat. It's ready to go. All it needs is gravel for the moment. Similar to over in Territorial, just make it gravel for the first few years. You know, it's just something to get off the cul-de-sac and somewhere to go for the public to go on the south side of town. I can't tell you how many elderly with their canes and their strollers and their pets are parking in the cul-de-sac because it's safe, it's easy to get to, and it's near a lot of the elderly that live on the south side. One other issue, and I'll be done. We have a train, several every day going through town. Well, guess who uses the road when the trains start? Which is a lot. Police, maintenance trucks, and different city vehicles use Third Court to go over the easement and get over the bridge so they can get to the north side. It's been a critical tributary for 15 years since I built it. And it just continues on. Police department, fire department, and other departments have used it. They're not as much because I've tried to put my foot down, but the maintenance trucks and utility trucks, parks and recs vehicles have all used that road to access with the easement that we put in. City council demanded I put in that easement, and it's been just a tributary from the south side going to the north. When 99 was getting built on for 2 years, they were using Third Court. So my goal, I'll be done in 30 seconds. My goal is to educate you. I have another session with the city council. I have another letter coming from my workstation going to city council. I'm willing to, I don't need any money. I'm trying to, right now, I'm trying to stretch this out in the 5-year plan so we can get it solved. It's the only lot available, and it's, the name is on there, his number's on there, so that we know who the lot owner is, was going to sell that lot back to the city.
Okay,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
All right?
Thank you.
I'll be talking with the city council, but I want to educate the parks and recs so you know where we're at.
Makes sense. We're well
Thank you.
aware. Thanks.
Well, thank you.
Thanks. All right,
Just comment on this real quick.
go ahead.
So, I don't think there's any question of any parking on that side. But I would say, like, if the issue is city vehicles using the thing, I think the city should just say, stop
Don't use it.
stop using cat, stop, utility, stop. But I did go look the other day, we talked about it, and there's no private road signs. There's no parking signs. So if you didn't know better, you would think it was a public road and public parking. There's nothing that says, don't be here. And so, and I know we've had this conversation is, this parking lot, we're not gonna do anything to it until the city says they wanna buy that road, because it doesn't do us have a park on the edge of a private road. So I don't know, I mean, I know he keeps coming back here, but I think the city, I don't know what your guys' plan is, but I would just say, here's what you need to do on this. If you guys don't wanna have them showing up at your meetings all the time too, is the city is done using Third Court. And he needs to post proper signage, because right now,
Last time I went over there was I
I drove around, because he said, I was like, I'm gonna take a look at this and just be like, what's going on? And I did not see one, maybe I missed it, but there is not a private drive. And I did not see any no parking signs.
At one time, I saw a no parking sign, but it was faded.
So,
And if it's there, I check it again, but if it's there, they need to tow the car.
I mean, until the city, I mean, that's my 2 cents would be, if the city's him and hawing what to do, and just tell everybody not to use it.
Right, well, I had an opportunity to talk to Luke, of course, at the club, like you probably have, you know, but essentially I told him, I said, funding is an issue. I said, we're going into a budget year that is gonna be a real tough budget year, you know, and not only that, but even if it's not identified in the park master plan.
Right.
And so without it being identified in the park master plan, we could get it identified in the park master plan. for that lot, for public parking and stuff like that. That's achievable. But then we get into budget. And I told him, I said, you know, the budget's gonna be a tough budget for the next couple of years. And so, you can always propose that, at the budget committee meetings and things like that, as far as, funding goes and things like that. Stopping using that bridge,
Not the bridge, just using that.
well, that's the only way to get onto the trail for police and fire from that side. That's the only place. And so, and that's purposely put in there for that
Sure.
reason.
So maybe it's the cap, I mean, so they're
Yeah.
essential use doing things, which I can't imagine they're going back there a whole ton. Maybe fire's probably never unless there's something serious going on. Police are probably doing a patrol.
Yeah, we used it quite a bit.
But like the cat bus or whoever,
Right.
the utility trucks who, if that's how it was written when it went in, we need to tell him like, you signed off on this easement, so this is why they're using it.
Listen, we voted on this before.
Right, and the other part is,
And
we're not-
And the city
and the city
council,
has
the
to-
city council, Randy's already met with them
Right.
and by the
Yeah.
city council.
I mean,
to
the
meet
road
with
is
them
the
and
big
stuff
piece
like that.
for us. We kind of decided that we're not gonna even touch this until the city buys the road.
Right, we're not gonna move, we got other things that we need to talk
Anyhow.
about other than that. So, sorry.
You don't have enough parking for patients, is that it?
He doesn't
want
No,
to-
he doesn't,
He wants to
he
sell
doesn't
you
work there anymore.
Yeah.
Well, and there needs to be parking, I think that's a fair argument, is there nothing
Oh,
else?
the fair argument.
But,
I mean, no.
Is it gotten better now that they put that thing in there,
They wanna drag, go to.
Fred Meyer's with?
I don't know.
It's behind.
I'm not sure.
Lumberyard.
maybe we put a
I don't
traffic
know.
count or something in
He's
there.
got road, he's
See how
got
many people actually try
permits.
to
Then it's-
connect there. I don't think their parking is,
So he just doesn't want people using it.
if he wants to sell a lot,
Right,
is what he.
moving on, go. City
Come on,
staff
let's talk
update,
more.
Ryan,
Well, I think you had someone else, another guest.
no, she's gonna be, she's
Oh, okay,
gonna be talking about Kevin, or interested in Kevin.
sorry. I don't have much to report, except for the SDC methodology is still on the same track to be adopted in May. There's a work session at council next month, early next month. And then it goes, progresses on to the hearing in, May. Next week, there's a 60-day noticing requirement, so next week we'll be sending out the 60-day notice to the state, letting them know that we're going to be updating our SCC methodology, so it's all in progress still.
Jim?
I'll be real brief. We're gonna talk a little bit, in a little bit of the agreement on the use of Maple Street Park. We had a meeting with the city administrator, baseball and softball and Barry. So we'll be briefing on that, somewhere in this meeting, right? Or
Sure.
intent.
It's coming up.
Yeah, and then, as far as city business goes, comprehensive plan is big right now, for the city council and for Don Hardy and for planning and stuff like that, and the adoption of that. The impacts to this group, of course, is, for future, parks and ball fields. And, so I believe, Brian, there's 14 acres or something like that currently in the comprehensive plan, the need for 14 additional acres, something like that, in regards to, future, ball fields and things that we, would need to identify. We continue to look at, the need for a hotel in town. Have I ever mentioned that before, Randy? I don't think I've.
Heard it a few times.
I don't think I've ever mentioned
Yeah.
that before.
What, has free HBO?
Yeah, but anyway, and then of course, the bypass going up to the industrial area, and that's full steam ahead, I believe. And so you'll see even more movement on that coming up very soon. So,
Okay. Before Chantel, before we move, Ryan wanted to, if Ryan, myself, Randy, Jim Davis, we sat in with the baseball group and the softball group, because they have some discussions on how we're gonna utilize Maple Street Park fields now that they're turf. baseball would like a little bit of that action too, so go ahead, Ryan.
Barry, can so who was it that met Randy, Barry, and who else? Sorry.
Randy, Jim, Ryan, Oliver, myself, and James Heckathorn,
Okay.
and
Jessica Roberts,
Jessica Roberts,
and Pat Bailey.
and Pat Bailey.
Okay. I know I missed one person. Daly or Bailey? B or D?
B as in Barry. And the group they were representatives from youth baseball and youth softball.
Okay.
And so Ryan will give us a little, his version of how that meeting went.
Yeah, so obviously Maple's got turfed and scoreboards and fancied. So it came into, so traditionally, the last, 20 years, Maple's been softball only. And then baseball's been at the schools. And then once they put turf on it, obviously baseball kind of feels like we should probably have a little, as Barry says, some of that action. And so last year, we basically said, hey, we understand this is first year and you have stuff already on the books, so we're just gonna leave you alone. So they had Maples exclusively last year. So coming into this year, we met and we met with them last year and kind of had the conversation of, we understand you have tournaments booked, you're good, we're fine, but moving forward, we're probably gonna have to have a conversation about splitting these deals up or sharing them. And so we kind of went into some sharing meetings, and I guess softball didn't want to share as much as baseball would have liked to share, and so we kind of went some back and forth, and so finally, about the fourth time going back and forth, I just said, let's just go to the city and have them help mediate this thing, and so we met.
Thank you, Randy.
And so, so for 26, we have an agreement, of how we're gonna share the fields, on that, and, we had basically a 3-year plan how to do it, which would basically end up being close to 50-50, but softball would still have more use than baseball, but we would have whatever we needed. We'd have as much as we need, which it wouldn't be 50-50 in softball. They kind of go different times of the year, so so it worked out fine for baseball, and then softball would just have to adjust a little bit. They wouldn't lose any fields. Basically said, if we're at Maple, then you can take our field over at night school. So there would be no field, they wouldn't feel like they're losing anything. And from there, so we got, long story short, after this meeting, we came up with an agreement for 26. They did not want to go any further than that. So so currently we have a plan for this upcoming spring, summer, fall, and then we'll have to figure out kind of back at it for 27. My big question coming out of this thing was, since it's Maple Street Park, not that we have to make it 50-50, but the big question is kind of, does this become a Title IX deal where if softball just said, hey, we're gonna use this thing all the time, does baseball have a deal like, hey, we gotta split this thing up? That's not where we wanna go with it, but I guess, as we talked about it, if it went nuclear, is this the option? We just split them up, baseball takes one, and softball takes one, and we're just kind of done with it. Again, that's not what we're trying to do or intend to do, but I think that's the outline question of, just so everybody's on the same page of, okay, we can either share these, do it kind of nicely, or basically we're just gonna split them up and you give it.
I talked to Ryan about this earlier on, and you know, they have in summary, they have an agreement for 26. Softball does have a lot of tournaments there, and I think he recognized that moving forward for this year. But I told him our parks board is not going to be the sheriff of how these ball fields are going to get divvied up. They need to work together between softball and baseball, and they need to come to a mutual agreement of how they're gonna do that. That was my position for our board. And you guys can.
Go ahead, Jim. First of all, I appreciate Randy. I got contacted by Randy, we get this meeting put together very quickly.
Yes, wow.
Yeah, and so thank you, Randy, for getting the meeting put together. I think the important part for this group to understand is we've reached a point as we get more ball fields like these, where we have to have a policy, a city policy in regards to the use of the fields. I'm glad they have an agreement for 26 because my recommendation is going to be that, and Randy's already started researching that a little bit in regards to how other cities do it in regards to scheduling. Just similar to school district has a scheduling that they do for fields, the city has to have something put together, and even if it's a third party on how fields are regulated and how fields are prioritized and who can use them and who can't use them, because we're only gonna get bigger and the problem's gonna get worse. And just like I told Ryan is, what happens if softball, lacrosse, now they want use of Maple Street? You know, what are we supposed to say? No, they're, can't use them because we got baseball and softball on them, you know? So we're gonna try to head off a big problem by getting a policy approved by the city council in regards to the use of ball fields.
Who paid for that trip?
City,
Right, you split up school district and city fields. Who's got more fields if you split them up? You know,
Well, there's only two baseball, softball fields on city property.
school districts.
But school wise, are you guys pretty much 50-50 then? Cause
No, we have a bigger, we have more, we use 8 fields for baseball. And we're overflowing. So, yeah, so
we're two at the high school.
we got, well, yes. There's 2 at the high school for softball, and they use Baker Prairie, which has 2 fields.
Mhm.
And then Maples. On that, so, yeah. So we're short. We're, I guess, a little bit short on overall. I mean, I guess if you look at how they say the school's gonna go, basically, we're kind of done growing in the school district. So I can't imagine we're gonna have some influx of kids. So we're gonna need, a ton more things. But it is getting to the point where we're having to double dip practice some nights where you have to play two teams on a field at, like a 5 o'clock and a 6:30 or something like that. So they're all great things to have. But yeah, it does get a little bit complicated on that.
I don't want great term. Whatever happens, you know. But it wasn't a problem before until we took those fields,
Sure.
and now it's a problem.
Because they want
Well, I mean, it's turf scoreboards in which we don't have at the other fields. Obviously, it's all weather, so like for us, if we have a tournament, rains, we're done. Here you can get them in. And so there is some benefit to it. So that part is essentially changed for me,
Right.
right?
But,
Turf.
yeah, but like I say, it wasn't an issue until they became turf. Now it's an issue. And I believe baseball should share in those two. I'm just saying that what was.
Yeah, everybody had the same, everybody got rained out essentially before the tournament. Now it's like, oh, we can play. Well, why should softball be the only one that's?
And they bring a lot of tournaments in, and a lot of state tournaments, regional tournaments. I mean, they've done a lot. And I know you guys will do
Yeah,
the
we
same.
have 9 tournaments or so, so we do quite a few ourselves.
What age group do you limit it to out there?
6th grade would be the max,
It's 1,200, right?
so, yeah, so 2nd grade through 6th grade, all that.
Okay, do you have anything on this, Randy?
That's good.
Yeah.
Moving on to, now Chantel is with Cavern. And did you want, go ahead and,
Well, I didn't have anything really prepared. I was kind of just coming to observe. I'm on the Capra board, I also happen to be president of Camp Kids, so pretty, know all about these field districts, very familiar. But Capra, I've only been on the board about 3 years, and in full transparency, I did that because I was looking for Camp Kids more opportunity for them, maybe with the Parks District versus how we have to schedule with the school district and, you know, work with the city, which both entities have been wonderful for us. But also being a lifelong citizen, I would love to see, the whole idea of Capra is to create a Parks District where you know, for the entire community, all age, not just kids. You know, Canby lost its community education years ago when the school budget thing cuts. I mean, there's so many things, more as far as grants and things if you had an active Parks District like 12th Valley or Shanghai Valley or something like that. In the last, when I got on the board, I was like, these guys don't do anything, they're sitting in the top. I mean, there was a couple people who were active and they'd come to the voters for some things, but they never were very organized, in my opinion, or very clear about what they wanted to do. But I do feel after we have a couple new board members, David is one of them, he's pretty active in city things. And the other guy is just a citizen, but he's great. He's got our website up and running, which for some reason took 100 years to do prior, which is capra.org, which has a history of Capra, and it's been around since the 70s. It used to be the size of the school district. It's completely unfunded. It doesn't do anything right now. But it's always been kind of on the city's back burner as maybe someday with like could work with the city to, you know, have a park administrator, you know, that all costs money. It would need a tax levy to operate. Right now the city has the fee, the monthly maintenance fee. They're also having to draw from general funds to support Parks and Rec here. What we would propose is a levy to set up, but you know, that's very tricky as well. We understand that, you know, if the fire department needs a levy, if the city or the school district, you know, every dollar is very tight. But we would like to, you know, start talking to the city, you know, when that fee is gonna go away. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna double it? I mean, literally, I think the $5 or $6 a month now would have to double to just to cover what the city is between those two entities, between general funds and the parks fee to cover what you need just right now, you know. But so we would like to, you know, start having some, we would obviously, if we took a levy, we need the support of everybody in town, including the city. And we want to work with this, well, we have to have a member, you know, agreement with them because we're just citizens. We need somebody to run the Parks District. You know, there's a lot of moving pieces, but I just kind of wanted to come and talk to you guys about, you know, at some point, we'd really like to sit down with you guys.
Yeah, you want to know, Ryan and I met with Capra.
Yeah, I should have met.
On Tuesday night.
Yeah, last week.
We met with you basically, they wanna know, they wanna get the temperature, they wanna get what's the city's feeling on moving forward? They want those discussions. Is the city, does the city council, are they all, have they bought in? Do they wanna have those discussions with Capra and get this moving forward? That's what they wanna know.
I mean, does the city wanna just raise the fee? I mean, they're gonna have to raise the fee or carry it forward. I mean, I guess they don't have to, but the money's gotta come from somewhere.
Our parks fee raises automatically.
Yeah, that's true. But it's still not enough to keep up with the cost, so, right?
Well, not the way
Anyway, regardless,
not the way
I feel like there could be, you know, I mean, but we would need the support of, you know, the city, the school district, Rotary, Chamber of Commerce, every civic service group in town to pull something like that off. I think, you know, it's a real quality of life issue for everybody in the community, and the population is changing a little bit. It's not just kids, so there's, you know, other things, you know, involved, other demographics, so to speak. And we did shrink down, like I said, the district to just the city limits. Now we were able to get that through the county rather than the entire school district. That's where we would lose a lot of support is the rural areas, to be honest with you. And they don't wanna pay for things they don't use, basically.
But they use them.
But they say they don't, is the
Well,
thing.
they-
But, so anyway, so the voting base is a little smaller, obviously, in the city limits.
So what would, I mean, basically, I think you wanna hear from Randy and from Jim. What would you
Yeah,
like them to do?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the city too has gone through some changes in their personnel, so we might establish relationships, or Andrew used to, I don't know if you guys remember Andrew, okay? You know, he was in touch with the city a little bit, and he's not on our board anymore, so I know most of the people on the city council, but I don't know, what the city is looking to do to continue to fund, a parks, or if they're interested in creating a parks district where, there would be this, if we could pass a levy, a chunk of change, $1 million or $2 a year, whatever. Which working with the city to, a memorandum of understanding type of thing, if that's something they would be interested in,
If I could say a few words, we've had a lot of discussions about Capert over the years and in regards to the new boundaries and everything else. And then again, how Capert would be funded and things like that. And then I think the important part is for the city council and Capert to get together and have a work session, because the city council is gonna need a lot of education in regards to the history of Capert, where you're currently at, where your funding currently is at, and things like, where your funding and things like that are currently at. And so what I can do is recommend, Randy, I believe that we schedule a work session with Capert.
Yeah, we would like that,
And have those discussions.
so.
There you go.
That would be great,
Would you agree? Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if most people at the city, I work with the city on a lot of stuff else, I'm a manager back, so. But if somebody has my information over there, I might have my card here, I don't know what.
If you could give it to Randy,
Does that answer your,
Someone stole my.
I think the timing is good for this right now, because as we're doing the comprehensive plan and the need to identify whether it's use of fields, how we get use of fields, more ball fields, more parks, things like that. I think that the timing's right, because we're in the process of the comprehensive plan too. We can plan that out for the future as well. But the city council's gonna have to look at all options too, because obviously funding is gonna be a big question.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that came out of our meeting last week was kind of if the city was like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, then what does that look like? Right, it's kind of the control part.
Yeah,
Yes, we go away.
Well, I think that was $1 million, that was,
And the $6.41. If they become established and it's voted in, okay, if it's voted in by the people, they won't be charged the parks maintenance fee anymore. They'll, whatever.
that was originally when I first.
Yeah.
Got, that was their whole thing, was to trade out that for a permanent.
Yeah, permanent, that goes
Then you can
away.
go back for, if you have certain projects.
Yeah, well, the park maintenance fee isn't a tax,
Right, no, I understand, yeah, I got
it's just added to a bill.
you,
but
yeah, no, I
it's still a
got it.
tax.
according to the tape that I made,
Yeah, so,
the city had no plans on
yeah,
giving up. So basically the city,
Control.
so Capert would be one funding entity, and then the city would still be going.
Yep.
That would still,
They
so that
would-
was the $1 million question, I think, is what happened?
They would
I
raise,
mean, like you guys, we have board members, we don't all.
they would raise the money, but the city would still control how it's dispersed.
Well, but,
That's not a district then.
no,
That's, that was the question. I don't
It's a
know.
part of the city, but it's not a district.
See, a district is, take an
Special
example of a
district.
fire district.
There would be an
In the fire
agreement with
district,
the
you-
city
you
that
have-
that money would
you have
have to
board
be used only
members,
for parks.
You have board members and the board members control that.
You know, they be separately
And the
elected
city,
and everything.
the city would have to, if the city
And capital board
chose
members
to,
are elected.
if the city chose to, then they could annex into Capper. Just like the city is annexed into the fire district. And you have board of directors that run the,
So CAP would be essentially in charge of mowing, and they would take over all that stuff.
that's an entity. Yep, that's a separate entity.
So that answers, I guess, that was the thing that we.
I mean, I think they have, they hope to have a contract or memorandum with the city to do those
Yeah.
things.
Okay.
Is there any?
You could do an MOU like you're
Yeah.
saying. On maintenance, stuff like that.
You have to raise a few $1 million a year, because you want to be able to buy land, plus maintain what you have.
Yeah, I think initially this, we just were looking at right now, I mean, again, this is just all, you know, what the city right
Yeah.
now is putting towards parks. Something over that, obviously, it's not big.
You know how many times has a levy failed that we've tried to pass in this city for Capper or some park and rec district?
Never.
It's been 3 or 4 times
Yeah.
since I've lived here.
I think the last one was like 2008, which was a
But that
horrible
was
time to go.
Before they moved it, and that's the outside, the rural voters always shut it down.
Yeah.
I don't think the inside passed.
I think that was,
I don't know, I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I've always been told that.
But Karis and 91 districts were the ones that
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
bringing it down, I agree.
That's all I have, and I look forward to, if we can get that.
They want to
together.
set up a work session.
And I'll bring it up at city council tomorrow night.
That'd be great.
I think
That's just my
you
comment.
could, bring the pool into it also, I would guess.
I would.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. And then you get that 42 cents a thousand and put that in there. I think that's what it's at now, isn't it?
Maybe a little higher, that's about $1 million a year. So, if they did something for a buck.
if they did
That's
something
too
like
much.
that, would they, like, if we had park SDC money, would that money go into their
Good question.
coffers?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions.
Everything's on the table, in terms of memorandums of understanding.
I'm rattled.
Tough, tough room in here.
It is, man.
Tough room.
But, yeah, I mean, we're open to, as a citizen, on a personal level, I think Cammy should be open to everything.
Great.
Yeah.
Two.
There you go.
I know. Yeah, I'm not quite there yet. Parking, she's on the south side, but in any case, I do appreciate your guys' time here tonight.
Good luck.
Thank
Yeah.
you for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
Thanks,
hopefully,
Chantel.
yeah, have a good night, everybody.
See you. We'll see you down at the back.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to the parks maintenance fee ordinance number 1466. Randy sent some paperwork out to, I think, everybody on the board, and we've been talking about the parks maintenance fee for a long time. Do you wanna go, Randy?
Oh, no, me to carry.
This means you got to talk, Randy.
Okay. Okay, I brought some handouts, thanks. So I'm kind of teeing this up as a recommendation from this committee. I'm not sure where that's gonna go yet, but to the city council to consider an amendment to the ordinance, the city ordinance on how those monies are accounted for and expended in the city budget. First page here, I try to do this every month with you all. If you just take a peek at the first page, your parks maintenance fee budget for the year is $570,000. Can you all see that? That line item? And year-to-date actual, which is to the left, we're at about 50% of our fiscal year, so you're almost at 300 grand, 290. That's how much has come in so far. So we're halfway through our fiscal year, 6 months right now. So we have 6 months to go. So you might get a little bit to the better of that 570. On the back page of the page is the expense side of the house. As you know, in our parks, budget, there are 3 buckets of expenses. The top, category being personnel services on the left. We have 5.2 employees that are paid out of parks. 5.2. And then if you go down to the next bucket, it's materials and services. You can see about a half a dozen little line items there that we spend money annually on maintenance, parks, materials and services and maintenance. One of those line items is called Canby Kids, which I think I heard referenced earlier tonight. So there's $8,000 parked in there in the budget. Does everybody see that 8,000? So look to the left, 0 has been spent to date. I don't know if they haven't invoiced us or what.
Yeah, I'm sure they have.
Anyways, that's in the budget. And then lastly, at the bottom is a thing called capital. This is for building parks and some redevelopment opportunities. We had a big meeting today about this. This is where we park our system development charges, where developers will either pay you money or give you property as they develop around town to build out parks and open spaces. So we have about $1 million for Maple Park renovations. Now, one of the rubs that I got stuck up against is only 54.7% of every dollar was eligible for this $1 million. So I'm trying to buy $600,000 bathroom up there. I can only get half of it paid for. We're trying to fix that. We worked on that with our consultants today to get that jacked up to maybe even 100%. So it's a 0 cost. So all of it will be paid for out of that budget of $1 million. Same with even maybe potentially resurfacing basketball courts up there, putting in new playground equipment up there, maybe even fencing that turf field, because I hear that some bikers might get in there and cause some damage, and you really worry about the life cycle of turf fields, trying to extend that on the wear and tear. So we had a very robust discussion about that today for an hour, trying to get the SDC dollars increased percentage wise by the city council as soon as possibly even their next meeting.
How much is the bathroom?
600,000.
Sure. Yeah, it's nice. Okay, Auburn Farms is a new, what's the technical language, Ryan? New and developed, the category, I can't remember. Auburn is a new park, so all of that is 100% eligible for SDC. So that's, you can see we've already drawn down $1 million on that park this year, and budgeted 3.3. So that's going along pretty good. I don't know if anybody's been out there lately.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Nice and good. We haven't done anything with this off-leash dog park. I was told today that it kind of hinges on the Walnut project across 99. So it's kind of just sitting there on the sidelines waiting. Okay, with $500,000. Now, it's not to say that we can't pivot and do more things. We are pouring through a list as staff to really fine tune and take a look at all of the different things that might be considered, well, first, taken off the list that is really high centering some of these calculations that have already been done, that remain on some of our list from 2013. But also taking a look at here's a pie in the sky Waite Park improvements, right? Waite Park for $9 million. So, right? So that needs some finesse. We need to fine tune what that means. Playground equipment, bathrooms again, splash pad I heard from somebody. So what do we need to do to kickstart, reinvigorate Waite Park? So we're trying to get a little bit, and we could use some counsel from this group. If you have ideas on, as our Parks and Rec committee, on things you see around town that you think are needed, that are gaps, then let's get it specifically on this list so that we can, get to a more perfect number for our system development. And we're right in the thick of it, because as Ryan said, on May
Well,
20th, we're going to council with our public to put these, to codify this number for a long time.
we were tasked to put together a list of a 20-year business list or parks recommendation list for.
And that's what it's currently based on.
Right, and so we've already done that, pretty much.
The park master one.
Yeah, it's the 20-year
Is that
master plan of
Is that
all the projects that we envision for the next 20 years.
I'm just saying that they could be a little bit more specific so that, and maybe that we can punt that to city staff on a budget by budget, but I don't know if we wanna have that in our hands every fiscal year to be picking and choosing projects,
Well,
right? I like recommendations from advisory committees.
we have our list, I mean,
I see this list, but it's pretty generic. It says, you know, build a aquatic center for $10 million.
Is there another list, a CIP list that breaks it down per year of what we were looking at with those?
right,
We've already done that list too.
Yeah.
Where it breaks it down per year, 'cause
Yeah.
obviously the aquatic center is not gonna be built in 26, 27,
well, and
but there are other projects that are gonna be worked on.
And Wake Park, I mean, Wake Park, in the next 5 year, we had a 5-year business plan. Wake Park certainly, I mean, but we're not gonna be starting that anytime within the next 5 years. And when that starts, all hell will break loose, because they're gonna need to remove trees and do a lot. There'll be a lot to do at Wake Park. We had you know, I mean, when it gets to that.
Yeah.
When it gets to that, we can make all kinds of recommendations on what we'd like to see done at Wake Park, but.
It just says,
Close there,
no. Yeah.
But I think for this, well, for me anyway, it was always about how we allocated the parks maintenance fee. And we burned through our parks maintenance fee money. All that goes to the general fund. All of the employees, the 5.2 or the 5.5, all of those employees were paid for out of the parks maintenance fee goes to the general fund. You can, all right, you got $500,000, you throw another 600,000 at it, all that money comes out of the general fund. But the intent and they wrote this ordinance, the intent was that was supposed to pay for deferred maintenance. It was like one extra head, not pay for the entire park staff, which it is now. It was to pay for one guy or 1.5 guys.
Yeah.
And then the other portion was like, Spencer's got that thing pulled up over there. 2015, 16, 17, 17, 18, everything in yellow, all those items, all those line items were paid for out of the general fund. Then we create a parks maintenance fee. And now they're being taken out of, I'm saying, if they were paid for out of the general fund before, not paying parks maintenance fee, there wasn't a parks maintenance fee. They were paid for out of the general fund before. Why, or they should be paid for out of the general fund now, which would leave more money into the parks maintenance fee where we could use that money for items that need, for park items where repair is necessary or vandalism is necessary. Items that could come up, like paving the parking lot at Legacy Park, then we wouldn't have to go to the city council and say, hey, I need $100,000 to pay for it. You know, we could just take it out of the parks maintenance fee. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna go down my bandbox and then go over and over again. It's like,
there's another good handout that Barry put together, which is the next page. I got stuck on capital improvement, sorry. The following page that is color coded, I think, in your handouts. This shows you kind of, I think, what Barry's getting at, in that if you look at 2016, 2017 budget, personnel was 390,000, the children's services was 142. The total that was budgeted for parks was 532,000, and that was all general fund money. Okay, now all of a sudden you're getting a parks maintenance fee in the years following, and the general fund contribution is going down, and it's kind of going in a reverse direction. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's something we want to take a hard look at with council the next time I take this to them, because in the actual ordinance, there is anchor language that says thou shalt budget from the general fund 2016, 2017 language. Right, Barry?
Correct.
So we haven't been doing that, it looks like. I mean, nobody's fault, but we want to take a hard look at that 532 and see if we can't get back up there per the terms of the ordinance. I'll just flag that as something that Barry's asked me to take a really close look at.
If I might, of that 570 that we collect for the parks maintenance fee, it would be nice to have a little bit of that remaining, that we can use some of that money for specific projects, specific things that we need to have. And that was, back in 2018, that was the intent, that there would be money left over. We would be utilizing all of that for those line items that are up there on that board, or all of the personnel that's in the Parks Department. So, anyways.
Can I ask you a question? Because you mentioned anchor language. That's cool. So getting it back to the 530 is what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? It also talks in the ordinance, and I don't know how binding ordinances are, like how much we really have to follow that. I don't know if city council, how much should you guys do? But it says it needs to be adjusted annually, the percentage consumer price index as well. So not only 530, which 10 years plus the price index, right? Am I reading that right?
It increases.
It should. So the city's contribution should be more
Well,
than just the 530.
let's
If we can get to
walk that out a little bit. The anchor, or the CPI is for the parks maintenance fee itself.
Well, this says the city's contribution shall be adjusted annually and the amount equal to the percentage change, right?
Okay, where's that at? Sorry, which section?
3.35, 50.
Yeah, 50. Yeah, the city contribution, yeah, exactly. Portland Metropolitan Statistical Area.
I don't know if that increases or decreases, but my assumption is that goes up.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Is the city redoing for both the street fee and this? Because I just got a deal from my office that the city wanted to see news calculations on square feet and what was going in. But I wasn't, I guess I didn't look at it closely enough to see if it was just for the streets or whatever road or whatever, or is it for everybody that's getting a new calculation?
Everybody, yeah, street fund.
Okay.
Parks maintenance.
Okay. So it's basically got an audit more or less.
An audit, yeah.
So I know there was,
That's what we're calling it.
because that should help, right? Because I think we had some places that were getting charged one fee and it should have been that fee.
Yeah,
Just a little bit more.
we need to cure that up a little bit. But we got good people working on it right now, under Spencer.
Well,
Yeah, I think it expires this year, Randy. I think this language, it doesn't automatically extend. And I don't know which one is it? where that came from, because I believe it expires at the end of this year.
What does?
The park maintenance fee.
Really?
Yes.
I thought I saw one.
If you go back and look at when they did it, that was a very controversial vote.
Okay.
I thought I saw.
They decided not to do that.
Okay, so this, what you're looking at right now is, this is the one that with Jerry Nelzine and Jamie Stick, I worked with them and kind of rewrote this. This was my verbiage, I guess. So I added the F to that.
Oh, that's Barry's language.
Yeah, it expires, Randy. Expiration, the parks maintenance fee program shall automatically be extended in perpetuity or until a functioning parks and recreation district is created.
Okay,
But back in 2022, they voted against making it in perpetuity. They voted to cap it on a 5-year.
Yeah.
And so the 5 years is up this year.
okay.
And this,
Well, we better get to.
this corresponds with what Chantel was talking about with Capper, right?
Yeah.
If their parks district gets put in place, well, then you wouldn't have a parks maintenance fee. It would go away.
When this came up, it was very controversial and citizens looked at it as a tax. And it's not being charged as a tax. So that's why they did not want that to automatically renew. They wanted to know it's gonna end after the 5 years.
Yeah, re-upped by the city council every 5 years, you guys have to vote on it.
Yes.
Which you've done once or twice.
Once.
Once.
I wasn't there, but I was in the council, got to listen to it all.
Yeah, that's like.
So you guys are, city council will vote on it again this year at some point.
We better, yeah.
I'll double check the math here.
If you vote on it again, does it go back to $5 and then work its way
No,
back up?
we're currently at it, just continue with the increase.
There might be 2 more years left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. We'll check.
Yeah.
I'll check the minutes too, and well, that was 2022?
2022, I think it came up to council and
All right,
I remember, because you voted on that, Jim. You were there.
Pretty good. Good.
okay, so, and then one of the other things that I'll need to articulate with the council is if you look at page 2, you know, do we create some type of a line item for the parks maintenance fee expenditures? As this chart on the screen points out over on the right, there's a handful of different accounts that are being charged, like peanut butter, you know, for the use of the fee. But do we want to get more specific into just parks maintenance, you know, anything that has to do with ground maintenance, anything that has the word maintenance in it. So that's one thing. And then the second is how much of every dollar is the council's appetite to go towards wages? Is it 30 cents on the dollar? Just throwing a number out for Barry,
Right.
or you all. Is it 50 cents on the dollar? And then, so just trying to figure out a way to protect the parks maintenance fee dollars as much as possible for specific actual parks maintenance, recognizing that you cannot spread bark dust out there without a human being. I mean, you can. Somebody could probably prove me wrong on that, but you need labor, right, to do maintenance, to perform maintenance. So that's kind of the needle we're trying to thread.
And one of the questions I had with that, I guess, how much it would come out, because we're looking at two buckets. You're looking at the general fund, which takes care of all, 10 years ago took care of everything, and then we look at the supplement, which is the parks maintenance fee, and how much Cause you can make an argument saying that the shovel that should spread that bark dust could come out of the general fund and the bark dust should come out of the maintenance.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that could be
Yeah.
an argument there.
Yep.
I'm just talking out loud, trying to wrap my head around it, sure. So we do have two buckets, it's not just one.
That's right. Same conversation's going on with the library too. We can't run our library on the money we get from the county funding. So the general fund is helping offset or close the gap in the same way that's going on here.
Jim, the council could say, instead of $5 a month, they could go to $10 a month, $20 a month.
Right now, it's $6.
It was $6.41.
Right, but they could do that.
Yeah.
I know people hated 5 and they.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't vote on it, it's, you know, it's, no matter how you look at it, to me, it's a tax.
I mean, I feel like if they're seeing improvements in the parks, then it's less annoying, but if
Right.
you're paying this and nothing's, Wake Park looks like Wake Park and Maple Street looks like Maple Street, you know,
Right,
then it's like, what is this going towards?
right.
Yeah.
Optics.
So
Even though they do a lot.
if the general fund portion of it was equal to what it was last year, that would have taken care of all of personnel previously.
Yeah, last year was a bit, Spencer was around for that. Looks like a big cutback.
Yeah, so we're one less employee this year in the parks. But even 2 years ago, the general fund would have taken care of it. I just wonder what the general fund would do if it was increased the way it was supposed to, that portion of it. Like if we'd be close to personnel total.
If we were up at 850 again.
You know, if we were just, it only has to be 690, and we went from 532 10 years ago. And if that increased with the CPI,
Oh.
and it was, and the general fund was being put in adequately, like the ordinance says it should,
Right.
and increase, it would be close to personnel. I'm just playing with numbers.
Right.
And then that would leave 570, because the parks maintenance fee goes up every year, and so it's being collected more and more, we see that here.
Well, I think we clarified that the CPI language was Barry's language. Did you add that?
It wasn't.
I did not, and that was the original,
Okay, perfect. Now, that's good.
that
to
was the
know.
original order.
What did you add? The perpetuity?
Well, I added the perpetuity.
I'm losing track of Barry's.
We need the original one.
I need the original.
Let's see,
Might pull the original.
Yeah, well,
this one that I had.
yes.
I mean, I have,
But anyway, pull it on your 5. You take the 532 and you add the CPI every year
I have.
and you get a number. And you're wondering if that number.
It's close to the 5.2 employees, all in total personnel.
Gotcha.
But I'm also personally not opposed to part of the park maintenance be going towards personnel. And because you brought up the percentage, and I guess we could talk about percentages, but.
But we talked about deferment, if you look at it, Jeff Schneider wrote all this stuff down years ago, heading in, and it was like, they based it on hours. An hour, they needed X amount of hours for deferred maintenance. And say it equals out one guy, well, one person out of 5.2, what percentage is that? We would pay out of the parks maintenance fee, what, 10%, 20%, 30% should be taken out of our parks maintenance fee for that one employee. I mean, I did add that one portion.
Okay.
I guess it's on the back. It says 30%, but I'm not even sure I agree with the 30% anymore. It maybe should be 20.
Yeah, Barry's at the back, he suggested a number of personnel, 30%. And then he's picked the one line items for materials and services. There's about a half a dozen there that he thinks should remain eligible for the park maintenance fee out of all of the So we can try and get that granular. Anyway, I can draft something up based on the original.
The original really needed updating.
Yeah.
I believe I sent everybody on the board my suggested rewrite on the part, on the ordinance, so you should all have it and then be able to look at it.
Yep.
Any other questions? None? Where's my agenda? Oh, the agenda.
It says adjourn.
Before we adjourn, I'm just gonna take, effective immediately, I'm resigning from Parks and Recreation budget. So you may want to have an election for a chairman, somebody to take over. I have written a resignation letter. I will be emailing it to everybody here, council, city administrator, everybody else. Copy of it, so I can explain.
You're gonna rewrite everything and then just get out.
Mic drop.
That's it.
He's fixed everything. It's all fixed.
Wait, Barry, are you kidding?
Kara, I am not kidding.
That won't care up.
You are resigning right now?
Right now, the minute I walk out this door.
For the minutes.
You wanna be chairman?
Come on, Kara.
Oh,
Thanks for everything. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Just,
Sure you don't wanna rethink this, sleep on it?
it's just too many, a lot of frustration.
Go on up, go again,
Over that,
just kind of rethink.
talk about.
oh.
All starts.
Oh.
Next up.
Well, we can't not have a chair.
That's correct. That's why I said you might want to, you might want to nominate somebody and have a vote.
Right.
We're all gonna nominate somebody else. Everyone's gonna get one.
I nominate Jim.
Ah.
Do we have to do that right now?
You're missing.
We do? We should.
Terry. Oh, you're missing. No, don't do that. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, no, I was just curious on who was gone, I wasn't gonna.
And Doug Wright.
Well, I'm gonna nominate Jim Simnett.
Yes.
That's how I become president of all the boards.
You wanna do it, right?
Huh?
You wanna do it?
Do I wanna do it?
I'd be happy to.
Will you do it? I don't want to do it, but you can't really, nobody else wants to take this.
Kara, thank you very much, but I'm gonna nominate Ryan Oliver.
Can we call it interim?
I think that's a good way to go.
Should have seconds, should have seconds.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
You would.
We have Jim Simnett nominated Ryan Oliver and David Biscar seconded that. And I think Ryan's accepted
Interim.
interim,
Should we?
as an interim. But we'll go, okay, quick vote, all in favor,
Yeah, I might even pass this part.
all in favor of Ryan, raise your hand.
There's a height in this.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Kara, is your hand raised?
Is your hand raised, Kara? We need a quorum. I can't
For-
vote, not a member.
He said when you leave.
Yeah.
She's not gonna let you leave.
I don't feel like we're doing this right for some reason.
We can wait for the next meeting and put it first on the agenda at the next meeting. That's fine.
Somebody's got
Yes, it could
to,
be absent.
somebody's got to, you got to do the agenda.
Who are we missing tonight?
Doug Ryken and Terry Jones.
Okay. I just feel like this is a pretty big decision and it kind of should take the entire board to come to a consensus.
Very wise, very wise.
Okay,
Interim, hold on.
okay, that's,
Will help.
that'll help.
Yeah, I can write the agenda for next month.
Thanks.
That would help, Ryan. Thank you.
Have it on my desk by 7 a.m. I said, have it on my desk by 7 a.m.
Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn this meeting?
You just said
Can
you
you
were
still
done.
do that?
God, you said you
We need the intro. Go ahead.
A motion to adjourn.
You
A motion to adjourn, second.
And a second. Everybody in favor of adjourning? Everybody opposed? Everybody abstaining?
Who seconded?
We got, who's, which one is? Did you second?
David, okay.
Nate second. Dave motion. And then. And everybody was all in on adjourning. It's that time of night.
Yeah. 8 o'clock, not bad.
Are you set, Karen?
Yeah, I'm just stunned, but okay. Except for I want to talk to Randy and Spencer.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Okay.
We'll give you a call here in a second, Karen.
Okay, you call me?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay then.